guys, welcome back. Apologies for last week that I didn't upload a vlog for last Friday. I had to sort some stuff out and I just didn't have time. Honestly, sometimes it happens, so it is what it is, unfortunately. But today we have a vlog. Oh. And because I was very fortunate last week to go to Cologne for 4 days and it was lovely. Not Cologne. Copenhagen. I keep mixing them two up. I went to Copenhagen for 4 days from the Friday to the Tuesday. We flew back and I got to experience not just free life, a personal holiday, a bit of downtime, but also just some lovely bits of artwork that I managed to see around on the few days that I was there, because I went to a few art galleries and also it kind of started to click my head into what I could do in terms of my practice. For any of you who don't know, I tend to have several projects going on at the same time, and that is basically because I'm either waiting for one to dry or I'm waiting for one to, or I'm just stuck on that project and I don't know how to progress it anymore, which is completely fine. It's what happens within the art world. It's a process that you kind of have to get used to, kind of like rejection when you have to apply for art exhibitions and you just get loads of rejections. Unfortunately, it's just part of the system. But what I thought I'd show you today is actually some of my sketchbook ideas that I did whilst I was over there, because I feel like it's such an important progression, and also kind of the progression that I got from the art galleries to my next pieces of artwork. It's that eureka moment when I'm just like, I don't know what to do with this project. I'm stuck. I just keep repeating the same thing, hoping that something else will come out. I finally had a click in my head and I was like, oh my god, I think I've got it. I'm going to go home and try it out and see how we go from there. So firstly, I'm going to show you some of the sketches. I am wearing my dressing gown. It's absolutely freezing and we're trying to not put the heating on because, you know, money. No one has money anymore. Not anymore, no. If anyone's wondering, the sketchbook I use when I'm out and about is called Sea White of Brighton. I think you can see the little insignia thing, that's the front page, but I think I've done it the wrong way around, but it's okay. And I do have a full review of it on my channel. I'll leave it in the the description box below if you want to check it out, because I think it's, in hindsight, a very good sketchbook. Right, so first drawing that I did was from a painting, and this is quite unusual because it's actually, the painting itself is from a sculpture. It's based upon a sculpture, but then also based upon a still life. And I only had two materials because I had like such a small bag. It was graphite and pen, and I did the main character. So this is it here. So this was a portrait by William Sharroff. I'm not quite sure about the translation. And the little notes I've got at the bottom read, green and white figurative graphite plus pen, and that's what the colours of the painting were. And then I've got a little signature here saying clay sculpture into still life, plaster, block, black carving, still life drawing, oil green painting, landscape painting, board and oil. This only took me about 5 minutes. It's a very basic, it's not like masterpiece wise, but I thoroughly enjoyed the process of it. I always forget how nice it is just to sit and stare and just start drawing all the figures, the lines and the figures, and how it all kind of swerves into this massive correlation of lines and marks that turn into an artwork. So the next one I did was of another painting, but this one was of a still life. These artworks that I drew were in the museum or art gallery of Denmark, of Copenhagen. I can't remember what the actual title of it is, so I'll leave it in the comment section below for you to check it out. And this is the next one. This is the sketchbook. So this wasn't of the full painting. The painting was a lot bigger, but I decided to zoom in on these still lifes because, as you may know, I do a lot of still life on my channel when I can, because it's a very effective way for me to communicate and improve my skill in a very short space of time. But this is just graphite, And I just loved painting because it used this purple colour that was so alluring and just lovely to look at, and I was just so overwhelmed by it. It was one of those paintings that you kind of look back, you can't stop looking at. As soon as you walk by, you go, oh, it's grabbed my attention. Why has it grabbed my attention? I need to know more. And I was like, it's the colour. It's the colour purple, like a deep maroon, but more purpley purple. It's very hard to explain. The painting is by Wilhelm Lundström. I'll leave it in the comment section if you want to check it out. And again, I put down still life model strands to collage oil. I'm not sure about that last bit. I must have just had one of those eureka moments. I just decided to write everything down and just go with it. Very, very nice. So this next one, this is the final one. I only did 3 drawings whilst I was in there. This one's a bit more complicated because it's not a modern piece of work, so it doesn't look how it's meant to because it's been abstracted. So I just started drawing lines and having a lot of fun with mark making, and this is the process. This is just a small section again, and the artwork is by Ilgul Jacobsen. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I'll leave it in the description box if you want to check out the actual artwork. And I just had fun. I just had fun with all the little marks. And this actually started making me think about how I observed a lot of sculpture whilst I was in Copenhagen. Like, it was just everywhere. Not just in the art galleries, but in the botanical gardens, on the main walkways. You know, there's so many, there was like parks with sculpture in it, and it wasn't even a sculpture park. It was just so entrancing and alluring, and I just loved it. I loved it. Sparked something in my head saying, why don't I just do an oil painting of some sculptures like I've done sort of when I was back at college. How I'd go about that is I took loads of pictures of sculptures and maybe did some drawings for them and then make a collage piece to then paint on. And I've done something similar to that with my still life drawings back when I was in college. I have progressed a lot further than that, but it's just a starting point. I might get to the first stage and go, I'm alright, this isn't gonna work. But it was just an original thought. I was just like, oh my god, maybe that's something I could do and then go on for. And that was kind of the starting point of how I was going to progress into my art world. I love still life drawings and I love composition, and I just love art. I just love art. And the next thing that started to snowball into was a piece that I did a while ago. I think it was about this time last year I completed it. For me, I thought I completed it. I thought that was it. After I had the initial thoughts, I walked into like I think it was the Danish artworks from 1905 or something. I literally remembering, I was just like, oh my god, I could try this out. I'll get you the painting and show you. I did think this painting was done. It is done to a point, but there's still progression for it. I thought it was like the masterpiece of the project. So this is it. This is a composition collage piece that I did as part of my still life. I wanted to incorporate when I first moved in having nothing and what was most important to me, and at that point there was a pen pot with loads of pens and stuff sticking out of it, and that was literally my go-to materials because I was skint. I had no job. I was looking for a job, but that's all the materials I had to be able to draw, make some sort of art, and I wanted to replicate that because an artist's studio should be able to replicate and represent how the artist is feeling, and I wanted to replicate that through a painting. So 4 years later, that's what I came out with. I did some drawings, I did collage, I did lino, I did pretty much everything underneath the sun, and I got to that point and I was happy with it, and then something switched with me and I was just like, oh my god. The thought that comes up when I look at that painting is that it's very flat, and I like that sense of depth and composition and all those lovely little mark making texture bits, which this doesn't provide. I think I've just been a bit too neat, but because it was so different, I was like, you know what, I think this is it. I think I'm done. Sometimes what it looks like can disagree with what it's trying to do, and I feel like it was trying to do something more than what it looks like. So I was like, that's it, I'm done, I'm happy. I'm happy with it. Year later, walk into this art gallery and go, why don't I just do a 3D sculpture of it using clay? And I was just like, I'm guessing that project's not done. So my thought process for this next stage is to go out, buy some terracotta clay, play around with it, see how the segments of this painting I can replicate into clay, because it's going to be very jaggedy, it's going to have some bits that are quite smooth, some bits that are going to be sticking out, and go from there. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I still really like this piece as it is, but I don't look at it the same way as I once did. But it doesn't mean that I won't be progressing with it. It's just like a secondary artwork where there's some things that you would like to change about it, but you don't know how to progress for it, so you just leave it. This happens quite a lot. I end up making artworks that I end up editing further down the line. Like I've still got, you can see it in the background, my Mexico Mayan painting that I've been ongoing for about 3 years. I've just not completed it, and I've just gotten to the point where I keep editing things and I think, oh, that's it. And I'm like, no, I can't, because it's just very flat. I'm trying to pull the background to the back and the foreground to the front, rather than making it look all flat and neat and nice, because you can really easily overwork things, and that's when you get to the point where you're just like, I can't do, I've just messed it up, I've just ruined it. I've just ruined it. My next thought was of my mixed media plaster circles. So at the moment the dish is only yay big. I love this top bit, just saying. And this has been influenced with ink, so I poured ink inside the plaster to make it this dark colour. I think it was literally the next room of Danish artworks I decided, why don't I just make a pillar about this big and just carve out of it, because the actual marks that I get out of it are so much more interesting. Like, look at this top piece. This bit I would leave untouched, and because it's got certain layers and they react differently, I could just carve out of it and lead me to however I want the next project to lead on to. I know that's not I know that thought isn't I need to do this to get to this. This is much more, I need to do this to see where I get to next. Which sometimes I prefer, sometimes a bit curious, sometimes I end up going, yeah, but if it doesn't work, and I'm like, actually, I've got nothing to lose, just carry on with it, because I've still got the 3 that I originally carved out in the original plaster, and I think they are like a set in stone marker for what and how this project is going, because it has progressed from that point to this point, because this is a lot more murky, carving, all the lovely bits and pieces in between. So there is that. I want to continue plastering and adding on layers so it gets to a certain size, which I can then start carving out of. Okay, I think that is all my thoughts. All my thoughts that are outside of my head into this, which is, you know, just splendid. And I'm not gonna lie, it's just nice to be able to sit down and talk about art, because when you've had a terrible week, it's all I want to do. It's generally all I want to do. I hope you guys took something away from this. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll do my very best to answer them. In the meantime, please just like and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this, and don't forget to check out my links in my description box. There's my social medias, there's also my eBay Seller account, which you'll find all my artworks I feature on my channel, plus a couple of extras. They're up for sale if you want to buy them. There's also like lower price mixed with some higher price ones depending on your budget. There's also an option to donate as well in my description box through PayPal. If you'd like to donate, that would be greatly appreciated. If you can't do that, don't worry about it. Just like and subscribe, because it just helps me out in the same way. And I kind of want to get this ball running with the whole working for myself, because mental health. But thanks again. I shall see you guys later. Bye.